Well, welcome back. Today, we are stepping into a powerful new cycle, the fire horse energy, and what that means for your home, your flow, and your year ahead.
Yes, indeed. So with this new calendar year, Denise and I are thinking about starting off this, calendar year, lunar new year, doing something that feels a little bit more natural for us, and that is incorporating in our midlife mavens page more the woo element, so feng shui, some energy clearing, and so we're going to start out this year with clearing away our home's energy, cleaning up, decluttering so that we can prepare ourselves for that fire horse energy that is coming online. On Denise, correct me, is it February 16th, 17th?
That's New Year's Eve. The New Year's Day is February 17th.
There we go.
So it is the Lunar New Year. So it's the first, yeah.
Yes. So, but what we want to do is we want to start getting these things ready to support ourselves, support our home. That gives us that clarity and that confidence as we're getting ready to move into the year. I know I'm excited for it. I'm ready to just kind of like start fresh, feel like a clean slate, And Denise, do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. And, if you've been following along, we are in the year of the snake. So we are still shedding and letting go and getting rid of things. And to kind of bring it back to point, snakes don't shed their skin because they're broken. It's because they've outgrown what it is, right? They've outgrown it. So it's time to let it go. So this is where you want to start to look at those kinds of things in your house because the fire horse is bold. It's independent and it's unstoppable. And this energy of breaking old patterns, refusing limitations, and moving with passion through this next year so that you can really cultivate that newness that you're desiring for your life.
Yes, you've probably been feeling it for a while, feeling that need for that newness, that need for the clarity, that need for just like a fresh restart. The whole new year, new me. No, it's kind of more like, new year, better me.
Yes, I know, because when you do that whole new year, new me, it feels like there was something wrong with you before, and there's really not. We're not broken.
No.
We're not broken. We are just evolving and moving into just new phases of life, right?
Absolutely. And so with this new phase with the fire horse energy, um, the energy, because it moves so quick and fast, it can be intense for some people. It can be a little bit much, especially for someone who might be used to just kind of like moving a little bit slower. Not that you weren't moving with intention, but you just kind of took your time and space with it. One of the best things that you can do if things are feeling a little like impulsive or moving quickly for you, that maybe it feels a little uncomfortable in the moment, just ground your energy. Fire horse energy is asking you to just take action. It's not asking you to burn everything down to ash. It's about taking action. It's asking for you to use the energy, physical and energetic, and use the space around you to your betterment, not
Mhm.
to your detriment. One of the things that, Denise and I have been talking about lately is, everybody thinks that the beginning of the year, right as soon as the calendar hits January 1, that this is it. Like this is the brand new year. It's technically not. If buy into, the Gregorian calendar that that's how it is, then maybe that's how it feels for you. But if you think about it a little bit more, the new version of you, the better version of you actually doesn't really bloom until when? Springtime. So that lunar new year that comes in right there at the midpoint, right before spring equinox, this is a lot better to work with. This energy is a lot better to work with. So we're going to give you a couple of tips and tricks of how to work with this fire horse energy and the things that will be very easy. We're not talking like anything crazy. You're not having to pick up and move your house a different direction. These are just easy tips for you to help you make room and make space in your life, in the physical and in the emotional.
And you want to have your house energy match your energy, right? So you want to start getting rid of the things that aren't working for you. Bring in the things that are working for you, touching on that kind of stuff. And before you start inviting that new energy in, you have to make room for it. And Feng Shui teaches us to clear the clutter because the chi needs to move into your life and it needs to be able to flow around. And we've got too much stuff, then the chi doesn't know where to go because then it's like when you're walking through a room in the dark and you can't see where you're going and you crash into the ottoman. Oh, wait, that was me the other day. So it's, and it's stuff like that. So you want to bring the chi to give it a place to go, right? So that you can bring that new energy in this year.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a really good time, like, this moving of the energy and helping it move, giving it the ability to move through is, I agree with that assessment about it. Like if it's cluttered, you don't feel good. Think about like if you were to come home and you just came back from the grocery store and you've got brand new fresh groceries to put in the refrigerator, but your refrigerator is full of the old food, stuff that's expired or stuff that you're not going to eat. You can't make room for the new if the old is in there, and you're not going to use the old anyhow. Same goes for
Exactly.
anything going on in your space. And so that's why we're going to talk about some quick things that you can do to clear up this chi, to clear up the energy. Let's start with like the big three of what to declutter. And like I said, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I have to completely like rearrange my life and my lifestyle. No, not at all. Do us a favor, if you wouldn't mind, give us a like, a subscribe, a comment. Let us know what is like your number one thing that you feel that you are ready to declutter and welcome into this new fire horse energy. We would love to hear all about it.
Right. And as Cynthia mentioned with the big three, it's your entryway, your kitchen, and your bedroom. So we touched already on the kitchen, getting rid of the old food, expired things that are in the pantry or in your refrigerator. And then you want to make sure that as you're going through your home, as is your entryway. Some people wear shoes in their house, some people don't. And what you want to do, you don't need a big pile of shoes by your front door, but get a nice basket or something that you can put everything in. And then maybe, have one person in your household distribute everybody's shoes to them in, at the end of the day or whatever. And whether you use your front door or your garage door or your side door, your front door is still where the chi comes through. That is the entryway to your home. So you want to keep it in good working order. Then your bedroom, that is your sanctuary. You want to get in there and you want to be able to sleep peacefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Remove anything from your home and the space that's expired, that's broken, that doesn't fit, whether that doesn't fit you like physically, these pants are too tight or XYZ, or it doesn't fit your personality anymore, what you want to move going forward with. Something that Denise and I were talking about earlier was that she was saying, I want to give like this better like presentation of myself, even though I'm at work and nobody's really going to see me. I still want to know that underneath, like, my jacket, I look really cute and I'm wearing something that I feel good in. It should be the same for you. So get rid of the stuff that just doesn't feel like you anymore. Why are you hanging on to it? The opening up that energy is going to feel so much better. Whether you donate it to someone who could use it, old blankets and towels, you can take them to shelters and they can use it. This is a perfect time, to any thrift store, Goodwill sort of thing, to go donate your stuff and maybe even go in there and find that something cute to put in your entryway to, welcome in some good chi, or to organize better. Lots of people in those first couple of weeks of the year are doing just what we're talking about, donating, getting rid of. So maybe somebody's trash will be your treasure to help you get a little bit more organized.
Exactly. And with this new fire element that's coming in, you want to make sure that you're staying in that warm, cozy, choose your colors and set intentions with what you're doing, and just don't go all willy-nilly with some things. You just want to be like, okay, this basket is intended for shoes, or this basket is intended for like my keys, my phone, or whatever, right? Because when we have a place for things, then we know where to go look. And trust me, that saves a lot of time, especially if there's people out there that have little people still at home. Yeah. And you're running amok trying to get them out the door, and you've got like, 10 little toes and 10 little shoes for 4 kids trying to get out the door. That's a lot of shoes and a lot of piggies you got to figure out, right? Yeah. So you want to just make sure you know where where your stuff is so that once you get everybody loaded, you can peacefully get out the door and not scrambling like, oh, where's my phone? Because,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, if it's in its little home where it typically is, then that's where it will be. It's also setting a good example for the other people in your life. I know that we all like live lives where it's not just us in that space. Somebody else might be sharing the space with us. Whether it's your partner, a parent, your children, setting that example and letting them know, hey, like this is what we're going to do. We're going to start putting the keys over in this basket. And this is
right.
where we're leaving our shoes. And we're also going to pick them up at the end of the day or whatever. Start these little, and they're just simple little, systems that you put in place and they build better habits as you're going forward. It's like,
Exactly.
I will reiterate, this isn't about like an upheaval of your life. This is just putting good systems in place. And these will build these habits, not only for you, but for the other people in your home. Sometimes when we talk about feng shui, it can be people get a little, have reservations about it. Well, like, how do I do this when I've got all these other people in my house? If they're seeing that this is something that you're into and that you're enjoying it, if they are a respectful family member, I will just say that caveat, then they will see that this is important to me and let me help you and let me join in with you. And yeah, I'm going to put my shoes in the basket. Yeah, I'm going to put my keys over here. I'm not going to dump the mail on the kitchen counter and then walk away just to let it pile up. No. Just take the few moments that you are needed and do it right the first time, and then you don't have to do this craziness later and go crazy looking for so and so shoes or your keys.
Right. Or, that check that you knew was supposed to come in the mail and now you can't find it because it's been in a stack of mail for weeks or months or whatever. And, so it's really just about creating habits that work for you. And I know I can speak from, doing some of the things that I did with my kids when they were younger. They are now doing those things in their homes with their families. And so it's really just teaching really great habits for when they don't live with you any longer. I know sometimes we're in a phase of life where we don't want them to ever leave. And then we get to that phase where it's like, oh, it's time. I love you very much, but there's your house. Bye-bye. But so let's talk about some easy, low-cost ways to shift the energy of your home. And it can happen immediately.
Yes.
And this is what's great.
Yeah, because you don't need to do like a full renovation to create that flow. Small changes will make a big difference. And we can easily attest to this, of the things that we have seen in our lives of just the things that we do that we'll notice the energy feels a little stagnant, or we notice that we feel a little stagnant, sluggish. And we know that if we were just to do these simple little things, we feel a lot better. One of the things to start out with is opening your windows or opening your front door, your back door, and letting natural air move through it. I know we're in the season where it's a little bit chilly for where a lot of people live, but it's just a quick little thing. It's not about like letting all the heat out of your home. It's just having a brief bit of fresh air to allow that circulation through the home. And even for yourself, just step out and take in a few deep breaths of that, clean, fresh air. It will make you feel worlds better. That's also part of that grounding, especially when things feel a little bit too much or you feel overstimulated. Grounding that energy in nature will help you.
Mm-hmm. And you want to bring in, talking about grounding and bringing in nature, having some live plants in your home, brings a lot of vitality. It brings in oxygen. They absorb a lot of energy. Also, they also help give off a lot of energy. And, I know some people will say not to have live plants in your bedroom. However, ask your plant. I don't know. I talked to mine, and I know, Cynthia, you had a plant in your room that you moved out and it's not doing so well,
Yeah.
so put her or him back.
Yep.
And then there's always a workaround. That's the one thing that's beautiful with feng shui is there's always a workaround, whether there's a crystal that you can put into something or, a color that you can add to something, because that's what's going to help that flow. And I think we talked about this before, and you can put like a piece of black tourmaline or a piece of selenite in that. So that will help barrier the energy in your room, but actually give the plant what it needs because it was thriving there.
Yes. Another wonderful and simple way to do things, to move that energy through, clean your mirrors. your bathroom mirror. If you've got like a closet door that has a mirror on it, clean that up as well. That's reflecting you and reflecting your image. You don't want it dirty, smudgy, full of toothpaste, dust.
No.
You want it to
No.
be a clean, clear reflection. Another little thing that you could do, which I have in my entryway, is a very big mirror, and I have a lamp in front of it. So it illuminates, light reflects off of there. And so when you walk in my front door, there's a nice, beautiful landing spot, and there is your clean, shiny reflection illuminated by a nice, soft glowing lamp. You could set a candle there. I love those candles. Are battery operated, but have the little flicker on it. You have a timer. That's another beautiful thing that you can put in that space. It elevates the space. It feels so, so nice. Blue is a nice color to put in your entryway as well, because it represents water, flow, and abundance. So
yeah. And then another great way, because if you've had a lot of guests in your home, or if you've had a party at your house, or there's been an argument or something like that, a lot of times people will recommend saging your house. Not everybody likes to do that. They don't appreciate the smell. However, there are always, like I said, workarounds. So you can use chimes, you can clear the energy by clapping, you can use bells, you can use a sound bowl. So there's a lot of ways to shift the energy, and that will help as well. And then if it's been feeling especially stuck, then as you're going through, then open the door so that it can go out your front door as you're cleansing the energy of the air. And I, like Cynthia said, I know it's a little chilly some places. I know here in the South, it gets pretty hot in the summer, and I still do this. And again, not to let the cold air out in the summertime, but to let some of that fresh air in.
yes, yes. Another good one that we are going to talk about in another episode is about your front door. We've touched on, the importance of keeping your front door clear of any clutter. Don't let the shoes gather around there, backpacks, whatever. But your front door is the mouth of your home. It is where the chi enters, the energy enters. And so keep that area tidy. Keep the front door, as you're approaching your front door, clean, a beautiful wreath on the front door, a cute, mat, welcome mat or what have you, something adorable that says, this is a place that energy wants to be. This is a place I want to be. But yeah, we're going to do another episode on that and get deeper into a front door refresh. That's another one that take the 10-15 minutes to do that front door refresh. Immediately shifts things immediately.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in our next episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share this episode, and comment if you'd like to know any more, if you have any questions or anything like that. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.